Married Men Speak Life. I'm your host, Derek Porter. Today's topic, community, right? What about those other people who surround your marriage, especially if you meet with them regularly? Maybe you have dinner parties, maybe you're part of a book study, maybe you have a Bible study, maybe you have other commitments that you had before getting married, and now you're trying to carry those relationships into your marriage. How should we think about these things? How should we view them? That's the topic. Definitely open for discussion. Couple points to consider. I think marriage is special because it's really about two becoming one. That's a very important idea, right? It's the idea that your life is no longer your own, but you belong to your wife. And your wife also has to die to herself and give herself to you in holy matrimony till death do you part, regardless of what life provides, sickness and in health, richer or for poorer. No matter what you're going through, you're determined to stay together. Why? Well, it depends on what marriage is. Now, I believe marriage is a union that God puts together. It's very important. So God does the work of taking these two individuals and joining them together in matrimony. No longer hanging out, but pulling in and cleaving and becoming something new together. I think that this is a very important point to emphasize. And hopefully, this experience of denying yourself and putting your spouse first is nothing new if you're a Christian, right? Because when you're a Christian, before you get married, you've had this experience of denying yourself and taking up your cross and trusting in Jesus and seeing your need for Him. This is very, very important because the Bible says that it's no longer I that lives, but Christ lives in me, right? And through me. Through Him, I move and breathe and have my very being. And so if you're already used to not going your own way, not doing what's right in your own eyes, that should make you more sensitive and more open to other people then pushing in, namely, okay, as married men, our wives, making gracious room for them to press into the very depths of our hearts and to challenge our ideas, our decisions, and walking forward in that headship with grace, with confidence, with security, not needing to force our way because we're secure. And ultimately, we answer to God and we are accountable to Him. The head of every husband is Christ. And so we have the responsibility to lead our wives and to lead our children toward the direction that Christ is leading because He is our head if we are Christian. Now, what does this have to do with other people in the community who come into our lives? I think that there's a couple good points to consider. One, if you already have a community and you're inviting your wife into that, it's going to take time. It's just going to take time for her to adjust and for her to develop her own authentic relationships with these people. She can't just siphon the joy and the peace off of your relationships with these people, but truly in an organic and authentic way, God will prayerfully fan the flames of her heart and deepen those bonds as He sees fit. And so you have to be patient with it. With that, if your wife ever feels like she's not getting something out of an experience, you guys are going for hikes and she's not getting out of it what you want, if she's not getting out of the book study the points that are trying to be made in the conversation, if she feels like, man, this group is a waste of time, we could be doing other things, better things, more enjoyable things. Couple thoughts. If you're a Christian surrounded by the church, surrounded by other believers, or if you're a Christian surrounded by non-believers, it's all still the same. You are there to serve. Remember the words of Jesus. If you want to be first, you must be last. Those who want to be the greatest must be the slave and the servant of all. So the question isn't, can we get anything out of this? But what are we giving? Right? What are you giving to participate? Are you giving yourself over? Are you opening yourself up? Are you coming with an open mind and an open heart, willing to let people press into you? Are you taking an interest in others? Are you caring about those mundane, boring, lackadaisical things that other people are volunteering about themselves? The things that they're sharing, whether it's about their day, whether it's an observation that they make in a text. Are you appreciating those things actively? That's very important to look for ways to serve and ways to give. As Christians, this is how we connect to each other. And I think this is a very important starting point when we're thinking about community. But of course, what do you think? Definitely would love to hear your thoughts about marriage, what it is, and how we share our lives with those who we are inevitably around, right? Human beings are fundamentally communal beings. We're social. We need to have other people around. So go forward, be salt, be light, and serve the world. Derek Porter, out.